In this video, I want to talk about numbers for IELTS listening. As you know, there are 4 sections to the IELTS listening test. Each section is worth 10 points, and the sections become progressively harder. If you can get 10 out of 10 in parts 3 and 4, you're doing really well. But you can get 10 out of 10 for section 1, and you should if you want good marks. Often section 1 involves listening for numbers. You may hear a street address like 18 Brown Street, or it could be the number of items that need to be purchased, like 125 boxes of paper clips. So you need to practice listening to numbers. Let's try it now. I'm going to say 5 numbers. I want you to listen and write them. So grab your pen and paper. Ready? 47, 102, 31, 12, 8. So these are the numbers you should have written. 47, 102, 31, 12 and 8. What about these numbers? They're a bit trickier, aren't they? And these numbers sometimes come up in sections 2, 3 and 4 of the IELTS listening test, so you need to be able to distinguish between them. Let's practice again. I'll say 5 numbers. Ready? 14, 18, 90, 50, 30. So you should have written 14, 18, 90, 50 and 30. How did you go? Easy or difficult? If it's difficult, clearly you need to do a lot of practice. If it's easy, see how you go with these. If we pronounce the numbers very clearly, we would say 13, 30, 14, 40. But generally we don't pronounce them quite so clearly. Often when there's a T near the end of a word, we'll change it into a D. So 13 becomes 13. 30 becomes 30. 14, 40. 15, 50. So it's correct to say it with a T, it's correct to say it with a D. Both are okay. Probably the D is more common. And just to make it a little bit trickier, when a word ends with an N and it's followed by a T or D, we often drop the T or D. And this is what happens to numbers with 7 and 9. So 17 with a T, 17 with a D, or 17 if I drop them both. So with an N I can say 17, 70, 19, 90. It's getting quite tricky, isn't it? Okay, so there's a lot happening with the sounds here. There's a number of different ways of pronouncing them, but the thing that you really need to focus on is there an N on the end or is there no N? So if I say the pairs again, 13, 30, 14, 40, 15, 50, 16, 60. But as you know, nobody ever says the numbers with such a distinct N. What you're actually hearing is just a slight N. It's there, but it's not really voiced. And native speakers can generally hear it, though sometimes they make mistakes. So you really need to focus right in on that N sound. Is there an N on the end or no N? I'll go through the pairs as I would say them in normal everyday speech. 13, 30, 14, 40, 15, 50, 16, 60, 17, 70, 18, 80, 19, 90. Okay, let's try them. This time I'm going to say 10 numbers and I want you to listen and write the numbers. Ready? 30, 70, 18, 19, 13, 40, 50, 40, 16, 15. These are the numbers you should have written. 30, 70, 18, 19, 13, 40, 50, 40, 16, 15. And what can you do if you're having problems hearing this N on the end? And the answer there is practice. And in particular, you should practice saying them. So say the numbers like a native speaker would. So change the T into a D and really focus in on that N on the end of some of the words. So you need to practice saying the numbers. You should also be practicing listening to the numbers, and financial news is a good way to do that. And you can probably find some podcasts that will help you with that. And above all, you just need to practice. Practice, practice, practice. So, happy practicing and good luck.